I walked into the house thinking it was just another cleaning job. Dust, clutter, the usual mess. But then I saw something that made my hands freeze on the broom. A hidden corner of the home, a locked room no one ever mentioned. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't my job. Not at all. You might think you know what happens next, but I promise you, the truth will change everything. Watch till the end. I remember my first day clearly. The Thompsons' house looked normal from the outside, neat, quiet, respectable. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson greeted me politely at the door. Just the usual cleaning, they said. We trust you'll take care of everything. It felt like a routine job at first. Dusting, vacuuming, scrubbing, simple, almost meditative work. I liked the quiet. I liked feeling useful. But there was a strange energy in the house, subtle at first, like a shadow moving just out of sight. The first strange thing happened in the kitchen. I noticed a door I hadn't seen before, tucked behind the pantry. It was slightly ajar, and I could hear sounds. Not loud, but enough to make my heart race. I told myself it was probably the HVAC system, or maybe the neighbor's TV through the walls. But the feeling in the pit of my stomach told me otherwise. Over the next few days, I started noticing odd patterns. Mr. Thompson would disappear at odd hours, always muttering under his breath. Mrs. Thompson was polite but distant, her smiles never reaching her eyes. And the children, they didn't speak much, and when they did, it was in whispers, as if afraid someone might overhear. Then came the day I discovered the hidden room. I was cleaning the living room when the faint sound of muffled cries stopped me in my tracks. I followed the sound, trembling. The door, the one behind the pantry, was slightly open. I pushed it, and what I saw made my stomach drop. It wasn't what I expected, it was horrifying in its silence. Boxes stacked in haphazard piles, personal belongings thrown across the floor, a small bed pushed into the corner, and journals filled with words of fear, despair, and loneliness. The handwriting was shaky, scared. And then I realized it wasn't just clutter. This was a hidden life. A life the Thompsons were keeping secret. I felt my chest tighten. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, to run, but my curiosity, my need to understand, pushed me forward. I read some of the journals, pages filled with stories of isolation, manipulation, and emotional control. The Thompsons were not just secretive, they were toxic in ways I couldn't have imagined. A life of silent suffering, hidden from the outside world, trapped behind walls and polite smiles. I felt tears sting my eyes, not just for the people trapped inside that hidden room, but for myself. How many times had I fooled myself into thinking appearances told the truth? How many times had I ignored the subtle signs in my own life because I didn't want to see them? The house, the Thompsons, everything, they were a mirror. And it reflected a darkness I wasn't prepared for. Then came the night that changed everything. I was finishing my shift late, the house quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator, when I heard it again, a low, urgent sound coming from upstairs. I crept toward it, heart pounding, mind screaming. The sound led me to another locked door, one I had never noticed before. I hesitated, but something inside me forced my hand. The door opened to a room I'll never forget. Personal items, photographs, and letters scattered across the floor. But what hit me the hardest were the people in the photographs. Children, teenagers, faces filled with fear, sadness, and silence. And then I noticed something. They were not strangers. They were the Thompsons' children, but some of them were missing from the family photo albums in the living room. I realized with a sinking feeling that the Thompsons had been hiding not just emotional pain, but parts of their lives entirely. Parts of their family, their history, erased. I didn't sleep that night. Every shadow in the house seemed to whisper secrets, every creak of the floorboards a warning. When I confronted Mrs. Thompson the next day, she smiled politely, but her eyes were hard, unyielding. "You mustn't go through things that aren't yours," she said softly, but there was a chill in her voice. I wanted to scream, to demand the truth, but I couldn't. The walls felt like they were closing in on me, suffocating in their silent authority. I left the house that day, my heart heavy, my mind racing. But the images, the words in those journals, the lives hidden behind those doors, they never left me. I realized that some truths are so carefully buried that even seeing them can change you forever. Weeks passed, but the weight of what I saw lingered. I thought about the people I had glimpsed through those hidden walls, the children, trapped in silence and fear, growing up in a world of secrecy. I thought about the masks we all wear, the facades we maintain to hide our pain. And I thought about myself, about how easily we can be drawn into the lives of others without truly seeing them. How fragile trust is. How fragile we are. I realized something haunting. The truth doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to notice. I never went back to the Thompsons' house, but the memory follows me, a quiet echo in my mind. A reminder that what you see is never the full story. That sometimes the most ordinary jobs, the most ordinary lives, hold secrets that can shatter everything you thought you knew. If this story made you pause, if it made you think about the hidden truths in your own life, I want you to take a moment. Like, subscribe, and comment below. Share your thoughts. Sometimes, sharing the truth is the first step to understanding it. Because the truth, it changes everything.